We'll have a clock running once we go live. And we're live here on Be Here Now, where presence invites perspective and allows peace. As I said, we're live on the newstreamingnetwork.com, WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcast. Do us a favor. If you enjoy our content, Janice and I would love nothing more than for you to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Now, today's topic. Those that are watching can see we have a guest. Today's topic is Beyond Physical Death, Birthing into Spirit with Katye Anna. I am your co-host, Judy Forder, and I am here with my co-host in peace, Miss
Janice Leonard. Hi. Hey, everybody. Hi, Katie.
Hello, everyone.
So glad to have everyone watching. Judy and I, we do this weekly, and our goal is to share our stories, our tools, and experience to help everyone find peace and unconditional love and to be here now. We are part of a nonprofit organization, 501c3. So any donations are tax deductible. If you can go to our website, peacefulempowermentworks.org, and you'll see a donation button at the top and the bottom. If you're able to, that would be great. If you donate $30 or more, I'll give you a choice. I can make you a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, or a mug, which I finally got my parts together, but haven't tested it yet. Ooh. And just email me at peacefulempowermentworks@gmail.com, and we'll get your address and send it out.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. And yes, Kate, we want to thank you for your donation.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. I saw you have a monthly donation you can do.
Yes.
I'm going to go back and sign up for that because I really believe in your work.
Oh, well, that's great.
Yes.
It means a lot. Any kind of support, even if it's but money helps. I appreciate
Why do that?
Yes. Kate's been great about sharing our show out on her platform. So we greatly appreciate that as well.
Yes.
Okay, Janice, would you like to bring us in?
Absolutely.
All right, everybody take a deep All right, I can feel my butt in my seat now.
Just shook up all my insides. Woo!
All right. Janice, what is your attitude of gratitude this week?
My attitude for gratitude. I don't even know if I need to say anything.
Only for the podcasters who don't see our picture.
This is so true. Thank you for the reminder. We have two dogs. As you may know, we lost one of our dogs last year, and we're down to two, a little one and a big one. The little one's white with black spots, and the big one's all black. And this is a picture of them. They'd like to go riding wherever we go. My husband takes both of them. The big one always goes with him. In theory, that's his, and the white one's mine. But it's not it doesn't work that way. So they are sitting in the back seat of his truck. Cuddled together, head to head on the back seat, and it's just so freaking cute. There's nothing like dogs or cats, or nothing like unconditional love from everybody. But it seems extra special too when it comes from your pet.
Yes, those of you that follow the show know that my little fur baby ran away and was gone for 6 days, and in that 6-day transformation, I will call it, is when I finally admitted to the world. And Kate, I came out again and said that I was a dog lover.
Yeah, and we were very proud of her.
Yeah, cracked my heart wide open, allowing myself to receive the love.
Yeah, and there's so much. Bo's with me right now, but he's laying. You can't see him. He's like during the show, he comes and cuddles with me.
That's fantastic. Now, Janice, have you always had pets?
When I was growing up, we didn't have any dogs. My father wouldn't let us. It's just a funny story. Well, it's not funny, but because I was like, Dad, why can't you get a dog? I want a dog. And he says, nope. He says, I had a dog. and they had icemen back then. My father did, the iceman, ice delivery man, and he came to the house delivering the ice, and apparently the dog went towards him, attacked him or something, and he like took the ice pick and hit the dog and killed him. And my father was so devastated that he said, "We will never get a dog."
Wow.
So I was a smart ass, because I was at that age. And I said, well, then why did you have us? Because we're going to die one day.
So, oddly enough, perfect story for our topic today.
Yes.
Well, and to add to the story, our dog Max was a beloved. I mean, my dad loved that dog. When Max broke in the spirit, Daddy sat there and was sobbing. He said, "This is like losing a child." And Daddy had lost two children. So he knew what the death of a baby was like. So when he compared that, he said, "I know people aren't going to understand it unless they love animals." But he said, this is like losing a child. The grief was that intense.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, when I left after college and I had my own place, first thing we did is I got a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had him ever since.
Yep.
No rebel in you.
We had cats growing up, but they were pretty much feral. We didn't do anything. So, Wendy texted us and says, "Oh, Janice, you're so funny. I'm so sorry your dad had to deal with that." Thank you, Wendy.
That's
he was a good man. He was a good man.
Alrighty. How about news? What do we have for good news this week?
The good news story. Let's see. I'm going to pull it up so I can read it. So I'm going to talk like this, like the story down in below the picture, this is a picture which I can't see anymore because I just went to my writing. But for those of you who can't see, we have a picture of an officer who's at a kitchen stove cooking, and we have a woman in a chair. Her back's to us, but she's a little slumped over, so you wonder what's going on. Maybe something's wrong, and that's for sure. So here, I'll tell you the story. Earlier this week, Sergeant Total and Officer Ring were working. There's no jokes to that, is there? Okay, we're working the night shift when they were called to assist a resident whose mother had just been taken to the hospital. They soon realized the adult daughter, who remained at home, had developmental disabilities and would wake up confused and frightened by the sudden absence of her mother. The officers stayed for 2 hours, trying to find support from developmental disability services and home health aides. When the resident woke up ready to start her day, they stepped in with patience and kindness. Officer Ring cooked his world-famous scrambled eggs, that's what he's doing in the picture, and even washed dishes while Sergeant Total helped with her shoes, coat, and lunch bag. They kept everything calm and familiar for her, and the best part is they got her onto her bus and off to her day program right on time. So this was a thank you to Sergeant Total and Officer Ring for seeing beyond the badge and going the extra mile. And that was by myplay.buzz. So yeah, I love it. I love it because as you probably know, I had a niece and a nephew on the spectrum. And I know we were always worried the day that the parents had to leave, and it's something it's a real thing. You have a developmentally disabled child, not always, and it's a spectrum. So, but routine, regular schedules can be so important.
Absolutely. And what a wonderful testimony to the love that is out there.
Yeah. And it's easy to forget. There's so much going around, and you just see so much, but that's why I'm glad that you get me to keep doing this. Because I need to be reminded all the time. I'm assuming I'm not the only one, so I hope that everyone gets the little spot of good news from that.
You absolutely are not the only one, which is exactly why we do the segment, because they flood us with fear and grief and sadness, and we need to be reminded that there's a lot more good going on in the world than what we know.
And and pulling together, and it's not a us versus them, it's a we. I think Katie Anna was just saying something about that, about being unified, and that's one of the huge goals and wonderful things that we should be working on, and could make such a difference.
Absolutely.
Well, too many people focus on what is going on in the world, so they get distracted from creating what they want to see in the world.
There you
Yes.
go.
Amen.
Yep.
So yes, Janice shares her good news stories just to remind everybody.
Yeah.
If you're looking for good news, it can be found.
Yes, it's true. And then you get out in the algorithm, and I get these all the time now,
Mhm.
which is great. I need it.
You hear the word algorithm and people are like, oh, it's evil. It can be used for good.
It can be used for good.
Exactly. All right. So it's your turn, Kate. Here we are with Katie Anna. Katie Anna and I go back a ways. Those of you that have watched the show know that I have referred to Katie Anna before. Well, here she is in the video virtual flesh.
That's right.
She has played she's been a huge influence on creating the foundation of my spiritual healing journey. And we were talking about the pillars that she and a student of hers was actually my first Reiki energy practitioner, who I then convinced to teach. So those pillars of you trust your intuition, you take what feels right to you, you throw the rest away. I've said it a million times on this show. That was instilled by Katie Anna and Heidi. And, trusting your intuition, trusting your gut, understanding that there's a divine plan, all those foundational catch and release. Catch and release saved my ass when I couldn't get out of the cycle of beating myself up. My bully and my critic just had me down for the count. She introduced catch and release. And that's a process that I still use to this day. I'm far better than I used to be, but that foundation was laid by Katie Anna and Heidi. So
you had a class that you talked about catch and release, and the handout you had was really good. Was one of the best I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. So here is Katie Anna. She writes many books, and she has just released a new book called Beyond Physical Death, Birthing into Spirit. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So before we do that, we're going to give a little bit of background information on Katie. Katie Anna is a teacher of soul. She is an intuitive reader, transformational author, speaker, retreat, and workshop facilitator. Katie Anna embraces life as a mystical, magical, and spiritual journey, one she chooses to consciously walk with God. Katie Anna is currently promoting her book, Beyond Physical Death, Birthing into Spirit, and you can get your copy on Amazon. For those of you that aren't watching, we do have a link provided on the slide, which is also provided in the show notes. So, Katie Anna, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you both.
Okay, so Katie, where were you born and raised?
Spring Grove, Pennsylvania.
Ah.
And I lived in town, Spring Grove, till I was 9. We moved about 2.5 miles out of town, and I've been here ever since.
On the hill, they call it.
On the hill.
On
Yep.
the hill. Excellent. Now, do you have any brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have 5 brothers. No, 4 brothers and 2 sisters. There's 7 of us. Yeah.
Wow.
Big family.
So
and
4
where
brothers. I'm the next to youngest.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with such a large family, how did your parents handle that? That's a lot.
My name is spelled Katye because my dad said when he held me, he knew I was going to be different than his other children.
Oh, wow.
So he spelled my name different.
Uh-huh.
Now, growing up, that was not a good thing because we were, taught, as many children were, to listen to your parents. And I had a strong rebel.
Mm.
I had trouble fitting in the tribe. Now it's a beautiful experience. But growing up, being so different,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Now, what made you different?
What made me different? I don't think it was anything that anyone could put their finger on.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a kid, I didn't talk about seeing angels and Jesus and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was just my energy that Daddy just knew.
That's what I was
And
going to
when I was in my 40s, he said, I told everybody you were different, because at this point he loved Reiki. And when he was birthing in the spirit, he said he wanted my hands on him, because after going to church all his life, he felt closer to God during those sessions than he did in church.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So as a child, you were talking with the angels, seeing Jesus. Was there any point in your life where you shut that down because it wasn't very well in society?
Yeah. Well,
And
I spent 2 years in first grade because I had to learn that I needed to focus on the teacher, not go out the window and play with the angels. Okay. So that
okay.
was difficult. But by age 9, I had 2 grandfathers that birthed in the spirit. Of course, back then, they were dead. And I remember being at Grandpa Mulmert's funeral. My
Mm-hmm.
Aunt Marg and my Aunt Bern said, here, touch Pop, touch Pop. And I'm like, what? It was so confusing because I could see Pop over there in his body of light with the angels, and they're saying this is Pop. And then they made me touch him, and his body was so cold. It was shocking to me. And of course, I didn't know. Kids don't know that other people aren't seeing the angels and dead people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just normal sight. But around age 10, after the death of another grandfather, the outer world just started sucking me in, and to survive, you shut that filter down.
Yeah.
It's a survival thing.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
I was always connected to God. I was always connected to angels. But at age 38, I had a soul realignment. And a soul realignment is
What does that
stop.
mean?
Soul realignment is stop, reevaluate your life. And we all have soul realignments. We just don't recognize it as such.
What
It's
did yours?
opportunities. I was 38 years old.
And what was your
1987.
soul alignment?
I had a nervous breakdown.
Okay.
And
what do
so
you?
I went away to rehab, got away from family, the tribe, and that's when all the downloads started and the remembering started with that.
So that's when you opened and allowed the angels and your remembering to come back?
I started opening. My intuition was coming back, but it was after Reiki that the angels really started popping in, because they started popping in my sessions.
Okay.
And then my dream time, which the dreams had always guided my life, but then the dream time took on new meaning. I would wake up with classes. Everything I've ever taught came from dream time. My books, first book I wrote, Conscious Construction of the Soul, I woke up and I saw the book, and the book was downloaded. I had all the information. So my dream time took on new meaning. We don't do enough with our dreams.
Right.
And that state of consciousness that we're in when we're sleeping. So that's when the angels popped in after Reiki.
Okay.
I got attuned to Reiki at age 40. So that was 33 years ago. And Reiki it was like Reiki just brought everything back. I found my way home.
Yeah. It's the gateway. It was my gateway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how did you find Reiki? I mean, yes, it's more common now talked about, but back then, was it so common?
Right. I read something about these teachers, the Heart of the Goddess over in Philadelphia, and I knew I had to go there. So I went there and I saw I took a drumming class,
Mm.
and it was to go into an altered state. And
Okay.
when I was in an altered state, the two teachers were doing Reiki on me. And I couldn't talk at the time, but I said to myself, when I can talk, I'm going to ask what that was. They told me it was Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, after the
was
woman
all
at my feet, the woman at my feet became my Reiki master.
nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, I feel like this is a perfect place for us to take a break. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we get back, you've noticed that Kate is using the term birthing into spirit. We're going to have her explain to us what she means and where that came from. We'll be right back.
All right.
And we're back. Be here now, where presence invites perspective and allows peace. We are chatting about Katye Anna's new book, Physical Death, Birthing into Spirit. And when we broke for commercial, we said we were going to ask her questions about this whole term, birthing into spirit. What does it mean to you, and how did you come across it?
I'll never forget. I was working at the York House AIDS Hospice, and there people came to die.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized no one was talking about death because they hadn't been talking about life.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I walked in to one of the client's rooms, the patient's room, and he was crying. And he said, Miss Kate, and his minister had just left him. And he said, my minister just told me I'm going to go to hell when I die, because he was a drug addict and his wife and him both had AIDS. They were dying of it. They had 7 children. And he was crying his heart out. And I said, Richard, you know, he asked me, Miss Kate, do you believe I'm going to go to hell? And I said, absolutely not. I said, you're going to birth into spirit. And I had never used that phrase before. And it was downloaded. In that moment, I knew what I knew as a child, that there was only a physical death, that the spark of the soul continued birth into spirit upon physical death. And I was able to tell Richard back then, you know, how I knew without a shadow of a doubt that he'd be able to watch his children grow up. He could contact them if he chose to do so. Now, back then, again, I didn't quite know what I was getting into. I thought at that point I was going to do hospice work, because I'm good at helping people birth into spirit. But soul wanted me to teach people how to live consciously, so when they died a physical death, they could do so consciously. So birthing into spirit, again, is about a conscious dying process, knowing that, yes, physical life is going to end, but when we're born, the spark of the soul enters into the physical body. And when we die a physical death, the spark of the soul continues the grand journey. And it is a grand journey. The afterlife is a pretty amazing experience, because there's nothing but love, joy, and peace there. So that's how birthing in the spirit was coined, by telling a man, no, I have told people this through the years, and it disappoints them. There is no place like hell. Hell is separation from God, and you can do that while you're alive.
I was going to say, I feel like we're living in hell.
Yeah. You know, and so when people birth into spirit, guess what? no matter how virtuous or how sinful you are, you're all going to go to the same place. And
It's
just like life, the afterlife is a creation of ours. I mean, we create this life, right? By our choices, by our thoughts.
mm.
And
Wendy,
so,
yeah, Wendy
go ahead.
DiCarlo just posted us again and said she just ordered a copy of your book and she can't wait to read it.
Thank
And
you.
I know when we were on commercial, that's what I did. I went into Amazon.
Thank you so much. Again, in this book, I share 3 different stories. I share the story, the hardest story.
I'm throwing a timeout for you.
Okay.
First of all, this is not the first Birthing into Spirit book that you wrote.
Right. That's the first book.
The first one.
In that book, I share 5 stories. I share my dad's story, my sister Debbie, Johnny's story, and then three other people that I helped birth in the spirit. I share their story. When my dad was birthing in the spirit, now he had been a devout Christian all his life. He loved Jesus was all that he was. But when he started going back and forth, there's a process I teach in my doula program, how to take people back and forth. And so when Daddy started going back and forth, he said, if you could see where I'm going, you'd all want to go with me. My dad wanted to have an ice cream party when he was dying. Literally, he said, let's celebrate, because his body wasn't working anymore. And as much as he loved us, he knew. I mean, one day he started, he said, Katie, I need a level. I said, you need a level? He said, yeah. He said, I'm building my house over there and they don't have levels. And he was amazing with that house. When Johnny was dying years later, he said he was going to go to Pop's house and live with Daddy. But when John first saw Daddy's house, it had no windows and it had no doors. So I knew he was not close to death.
Right.
In the hospice, Johnny said, Katie, there's windows and doors now, but they were shut. 10 days before he died, the windows and doors opened to Daddy's house. When Lloyd, my son, was birthing in the spirit, he said, Mom, Pappy's building a bigger house. I said, why? He said, looks like several of us are going to die pretty quick, and he wants to have a place for them. Within 2 months, my son and 2 of my most dearest beloved cousins birthed in the spirit. Daddy was getting ready for him. Lloyd said, I told you, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So from the first book, The Journey of the Soul Continues After Physical Death, to this book, has your position, your vision of birthing into spirit changed?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, the core belief of the soul continuing hasn't changed. That's been predominant since that day at the hospice. But my understanding of the afterlife and my fear has gone away about talking it. When I wrote that book in 2014, I didn't, my mom read it and she said, now, is this a book that I can give to my preacher? Because she knew the first book I wrote wasn't. So my mom was like, and I said, yeah, I think you could give it to him. Now, of course, the traditional Christian belief is you're dead and someday you'll come back. When Jesus comes back. Well, Jesus never left, but that's a whole other story.
That's a book for another day.
That's a book for another day. You know, so yeah, my concept has gotten much broader with the birthing in the spirit. In 2017, my soul, my angels guided me to create my doula program. So now I have a doula program, and I love that work because we talk more about life than we do death in that class. And we talk about helping people do. And in this book, I talk about the importance of end of life planning. You know, because we make plans for everything else, but no one wants to talk about, much less plan, you know, make their end of life plan. But an end of life plan with a medical directive is a must have for anyone over 21. You know,
Yes.
So yeah, definitely I've changed in my willingness to come out.
Okay.
You've come out of a lot of things, like being a dog lover, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my willingness to be open and, out there.
Yeah.
That because I still have many family members that believe very traditional.
Mm-hmm.
So here I am talking about, yeah, mom popped in the other day, or, well, boy, Lloyd wanted to talk through me in this
Mm-hmm.
book. The hardest story to write in that book and Beyond Physical Death was my
Mm-hmm.
son Lloyd's. Tomorrow it will be 2 years since he birthed in the spirit. Yeah.
Yeah. That still doesn't
Yeah.
feel real sometimes.
It doesn't.
No.
But again, he had a near death experience on his 50th birthday. We were waiting for him to come, and his health tanked. And so he had a near death experience. And I remember that night, my sister Debbie, who is in spirit, came into my room and sat with me. It was 2:00 in the morning, and everybody, was either at the hospital or, well, we couldn't go to the hospital because it was during COVID time when
Mm-hmm.
stuff was locked down. But he knew coming back, his body was going to be very different.
Mm-hmm.
He had a choice, and I marveled because he was with my dad and Johnny Allen. He loved Allen like a dad,
Mm-hmm.
and he was with all them, and it was a joyous celebration. How was he going to be able to leave that to come back into a body that had cancer, and now he had his entire colon taken out?
Mm-hmm.
But he chose to come back because he wanted to teach more. He had more. He wanted to share, and he wasn't ready to let go of his family here on earth. So he came back for 3 more years.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 more years. 3 more years where he was able to teach and do his thing in a body that I'm sure
He never
felt.
complained. He was amazing. He said, Mom, this is a little gross. He said, most of you have your bowel movements, how we have our bowel movements. I do it into a bag. It's not a big deal.
Wow.
Yeah. My mom had one of
Yeah.
those for a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something to adjust to.
Yeah. And he adjusted well. I mean, he took lemons and made lemonade,
Yep.
But that was Lloyd's character.
Mm-hmm.
That's who Lloyd was all his life, even before his spiritual awakening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So this book has a broader spectrum, a broader view.
Absolutely. One of the things I introduced is about grief.
Okay.
All these spiritual teachers say you grieve because you love. You grieve because you love. Bullshit. We grieve because there's been a major loss in our life. Our life is changed drastically by the physical death of someone.
Mm-hmm.
Love is the transformer of grief, not the cause of it.
Say that again.
Love is the transformer of grief, not the cause of it. And I share a whole chapter about that. I also share about chemically we are altered by someone's physical death. We go into fight or flight, and those hormones are released into our bodies, and it takes 6 months to a year for those grief chemicals to change.
Wow.
When you allow joy and love back, your chemicals return to those chemicals that love and joy bring in.
Mm-hmm.
So we are chemically altered by grief. And people aren't teaching about that.
No. There's so many people like they need to get over it and they push through it instead of allowing themselves to sit in it and feel it. And
what are we supposed to get through? See, that's the thing. You're not supposed to get over it because you're not sick.
Mm-mm.
But you don't have to live. I don't grieve Lloyd's death anymore. Did I go into grief when he first died? You betcha. Read the story. I went into grief, but there's nothing to get over. We're not sick. And grief is messy. Grief will take you into every range of emotion, but you don't have to stay there. People say we'll never get over it. We will always miss them in the physical, but we do move away. If we allow it, we can move away from grief. And I write a lot about that. Go ahead.
Wendy has another interesting comment. She says, well, that explains a loss of memory during the first year of losing a spouse.
Absolutely. Yeah. You go in that fight or flight, the cortisol kicks in, and all those depressed chemicals take over your physical body. You are in a numb state because of the chemicals that switch on. Yes. But people say, no, you're in a numb state because you're grieving and you'll grieve forever. No, we don't have to grieve forever. My family on the other side, they're very happy. I've never met anyone miserable that comes in during a reading from the other side. They're all happy. They're peaceful.
We know Wendy. Wendy is a friend of ours who lost her husband. You too lost your husband.
I lost Johnny, who I had been married to for 30 years. And then Alan and I were married for 14 years. And again, I hate using that word loss because I lost the physical relationship, but they weren't lost in me. I mean, Alan, oh my God. Alan was popping in all the time. Alan wasn't even on the other side 10 hours when he popped in and said, Kate, it's wonderful over here. I said, Alan, do you realize you just died? And I'm feeling pretty miserable. And he's like, so I guess you don't want to hear how great it is. I said, not right now. But Alan and I, if you're old enough to remember the Ghost and Mrs. Mural, Alan and I were like the Ghost and Mrs. Mural. He was always there. About 2 years into it, I got a letter from a woman that didn't know me and didn't know Alan. And the letter was, he contacted this woman to tell me I needed to do what people in this dimension need to do. I need to learn to live without him in my physical life.
Oh, wow.
And this letter was in great detail. And Alan said, Kay, and he called me Kay, and I didn't know that in his diaries, he always wrote Kay. And in there, he said, Kay, I have to learn to let you go. So he had to let me go so I could learn to live in my physical life without him. That took a couple years, but now he pops in. I mean, Alan, he's so easy to connect with. Yeah, he pops in all the time. Yeah. And he pops into other people's lives. Students see him. Oh, yeah. I'm not the only one that sees Alan. The same way with Lloyd. Lloyd pops into many people's lives. I get emails from people who never met Alan who said, I think your husband, Alan, showed up at the, and he is. Alan's doing more work from the other side than he did when he was alive. His philosophy.
He definitely talks more over there than he did here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's great.
So
you were to sum up the book in a couple sentences because we got to wrap it up here. What would you?
Okay.
How?
Well, do you have the thing I put on the back of the book? That last sentence sums it up. I can't see it because I don't have my glasses. But it's for anyone who wants to have a different approach to death, physical death, the afterlife, and grief. That really sums it up because I talk a lot about the afterlife, heaven, many people call it. Now, heaven is a place in the afterlife, so I talk about that. I also talk about deathbed visions. That's something we talk about in our doula program. You've got to start honoring the deathbed visions. They're seeing angels and dead people, and because the room's always full. So I talk about deathbed visions, shared crossings, the whole gamut in that book. Shared crossings is when you're with someone when they're dying, but you're not with them physically, but you can see their process.
Okay.
Like seeing people go, I wasn't with my son in the physical, but on the day that I knew he was going to die, I was driving the car and I felt the surge of pain go through my body. And I started screaming because I knew it was no dress rehearsal. So that's a shared crossing. I was with him, even though I wasn't physically with him. I could see and feel. Many people feel their loved one leaving them, and they don't realize that that's what they're witnessing. So I teach people how to go back and forth. And you don't have to wait till you die to do that.
Okay.
We don't just live in one dimension.
No.
Within God, there's all these great dimensions to explore and to experience. But many of us get focused on the physical dimension.
Yeah. With compassion and clarity, Katye Anna reveals that the soul's journey continues, and that connection, healing, and joy are possible after the physical death of a loved one. Yeah.
The angels told me many years ago, after Alan died, because I was in the land of the brokenhearted. And I said to the angels, I don't want to be here. And they said, then, dear one, you have to allow joy back into your life.
Yes.
Wow.
Joy is the ticket.
Joy is the ticket.
Joy is the ticket. So I'm going to read that last sentence. For anyone seeking peace, understanding, and a new relationship with physical death, grief, and the afterlife, this book is for you. This book is for you. Question, is that your mother and father on the cover?
Yes, that picture. Yeah, that was taken at their 60th anniversary. My dad wanted to live long enough to have their 60th anniversary. And he did. And my niece's husband took that picture. And I saw it. And I was like, that's my book cover.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I have to tell you, Jen was going, editing, proofreading the slideshow for today. And she saw the book cover and she was like, I think that's her mom and dad.
Yeah, that's mom and daddy. And they're both in spirit and very happy together.
Awesome.
Mom never played cards after daddy died. Now she's over in the afterlife playing cards with their best friends.
I love it. So if people wanted to get in touch with you, how can they contact you? Because you do one-on-one sessions as well.
Absolutely. My website is katyeanna.com. To get in touch with me, it's Katye, Katye @katyeanna.com is my email address.
Excellent.
And again, if you're interested in the doula program, that program's about life. How do we want to live until we birth into spirit?
Yes, and that they can go to your website and find out more information.
Absolutely. A new one starts in January.
Yes, January 20th is what you said. And then you are also, if anybody's local to the area and you want to see Katye Anna in person, and you haven't been able to get out and do in-person sessions for a long time. So this is quite an opportunity for all you locals that have been looking to sit across from her. Where are you going to be and when?
I'm going to be at the Divine Connection Expo in Gettysburg. I think it's divine collaboration. Lloyd created that because he wanted to bring people together in collaboration and community. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to be doing a talk. I have doulas that are going to be there, and they've got some. I said it's going to be interesting to see how you can get people to talk about death at an event like this. I'm excited to see what they do.
Yes, and that is December 13th and 14th. Saturday is from 10 and Sunday is from 10 to 5.
Yeah.
Excellent. We want to thank you so much for being here with us. Now, Janice she likes to end the show with a little segment we call Something to Chew On. So, what do we have for this week, Janice?
What if you could conquer one of your greatest fears? What would it be? And what's your first step? Give that a thought this week. You could conquer one of your greatest fears.
And if one of your greatest fears is death, get this book.
I'm your person. If one of your greatest fears is death, I'm your person.
Yeah, your person.
Just what I was thinking.
You know?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
again, Kate, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of your birthing into spirit wisdom with us. And again, she has multiple books, so go to her website and check them out. She wrote about the unraveling that we're going through years ago.
Yep.
And conscious creation of the soul is something that I read that gave me a greater understanding of soul purpose and soul contracts.
Yeah.
So, you know, death is not her only specialty.
No, I've spent the last 30 years teaching about life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. And
Thank you. I love you both. Thank you for doing
Love
your
you.
show.
Thank
You reach many, many people with your words of wisdom. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you
for
so much.
you.
Thank you so much for
you.
being here. And that's plenty to think about this week. And from here on, I'll tell you. Thank you.
absolutely.
All right.
Thanks
Take care.
everybody for choosing to be here now with us. Please always remember,
You're not alone.
and don't ever forget, you are awesome. We'll see you next time.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Okay.